you got exposed to.
So let's just delve into what we did kind of for the last month of trading here, lessons learned and shit like that. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think one of the major things I've learned in this last month of trading is trading off specific time frames. Where if you take a trade based off a 5, 10 minute, 15-minute time frame, a breakout within, a wedge that lasted 15 minutes long, but then you hold that for hours or days, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And you got to trade based off the time frame. So, if if like with this last breakdown, man, like from this wedge we were talking about,
Mhm.
this wedge was like a day long wedge. And so, given that we broke down from that could be a pretty substantial, long lasting move that could potentially last several hours, several days. So it makes sense that if I were to take a trade based off that I'd hold that for like the long term,
Mhm.
or at least more long
Yeah.
term. Like I think that's one of the major things I've learned is just, if you're trading based off like a 5 minute time frame, don't hold it for days because then there's new things that are more telling. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I think in terms of like specifically for that, um, yeah, whatever pattern you were looking at and how long it actually stayed for within that channel pattern, the higher the time frame is, the higher, obviously it depends case on case, but the higher that you would have to either hold it or or how long will it take for you to actually leave that trade? If we're talking about smaller time frames like you just mentioned, then definitely you need to always go back to that. So like you have to always double check between the short term and the long term. Whatever, if you're scalping, we're definitely looking at shorter time frames. We're definitely looking at that lower lower time frame charts. And if we're looking for something more of a long hold, but your higher time frame is not really showing that. It's not showing that we would do that. This chart or this pattern you're looking at actually took maybe a couple or 3 4 hours to form. Then looking at your daily time frame isn't really adding much to it. Maybe just giving you a general picture of what might happen, but definitely not the way for you to what you base your exit on, or what you take your profit on, or what you
Right.
take your stop loss at.
Yeah.
So yeah, just in general, time frame is key. You have to see where that is, and that should determine where your entry and exit.
Yeah, so time frames are definitely key. So that's one of the most important things I've learned is trading based off of the time frame. And another thing as well, I mean, I'm sure you would agree, uh, but our EMAs, our exponential moving
Mm.
averages, especially on the larger time frames, like the hourly, the 2 hour, 4 hour, the daily, weekly, whatever, they're extremely, extremely telling. Like you could
Mhm.
look at a Bitcoin chart and you could see all the times where the EMA went under the
We're
price.
breaking. We're breaking right now.
Yeah, we're breaking down. Oh yeah, we're breaking down. Like we can see where we went under
Okay.
the price. The EMA, like on the hourly, the 100, for example, like how the larger EMAs, like the 100 and 200, are extremely telling. Like on the hourly, last time we broke below the price, on the with the 100 EMA. Sorry, to phrase that
Mm.
better, when the 100 EMA went beneath the price, we pumped from like 13,600 to nearly 16K.
Yeah.
So these exponential moving averages, the 100 and 200 on the larger time frames are extremely, extremely telling. And like right now, man, on the hourly, our 100 EMA is above the price action. So
Yeah.
if indeed that can hold, this could potentially be a substantial pullback we're going to see with Bitcoin. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, given that we're both in a short, but we based the short off our long time frames, we waited the hell for confirmation. That's another thing, important thing we need to like really consider too is confirmation. So there was the wedge, it broke down. Descending triangle broke down. We waited to see if we held the 15,000 as support. We didn't. We waited to see if we held the top of our macro channel as support, and we didn't. And so we had so much confirmation, And yes, we missed a bunch of the movement, but ultimately we're much more confident that this trend will continue and we'll be able to trade that trend profitably.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, so like what are some of the your major takeaways here of lessons learned the last month of actively trading here?
I think the ultimate, I would say, takeaway, obviously with whatever technicals that come with it, the biggest one was my mentality and the way I would approach a trade and the way that I should be paying a lot more attention to whether I'm just being reckless, if I'm jumping onto this trade too quick. Um, uh, I realize that I'm always looking as if every trade I'm making is like the last trade. It's not like it showed me that I have to look at this trade and not risk everything based on this trade only, and look at it from a point where it's a small it's a small step on this very large timeline of trades that I will be making.
Yeah.
And that just kind of puts me in a better perspective of how to approach it, because I'm not risking all of my account. I'm
Mm.
not leveraging more than I should. Sometimes, some of the trades look like it looks, oh, it's amazing. We're breaking out of a key support or resistance line, and it's looking very nice, and volume is there, and blah blah blah. And then you see a sudden drop, or or you tighten your stop loss a lot because you think there's no way we're going back up here, or just in general, I wasn't looking at my trading in a longer time frame, in a longer as a timeline from here for still 6 months.
Right.
How am I performing?
Mm.
So it kind of switched my view from from this second, this trade, to I want to be consistent. I don't want to tighten up my stop loss or give this chart right now, or this trade, a lot more stop loss than it deserves, just because I'm really bought into it. And that's just kind of the biggest thing, is to take it easy, relax. There's a billion more trades you can make here. This is not the one that's gonna, get you that whatever 5x or 10x or whatever
Yeah,
profit.
yeah, there's a lot of good points there, and a lot of different ways we can expand on that idea of like understanding one's own psychology and understanding this is a long game. We're doing this for the long term. We want to be successful traders long term. So I think a few points we could also branch off from that is being more selective with our trades. Like
Yeah,
I know for myself, I would take one good trade. I would make a good amount of percent, whatever, 3, 4, 5% on like a 10x leverage, 5x leverage, and then I'd be really happy because I made a bunch of money. But then I would be very confident, and then I would take a bunch of low quality, low probability setups, and because I was confident that I
yeah,
made one good trade. I'm speaking for
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
I
We're
noticed
we're we're actually
we're
dropping heavy
dropping a
right
lot. We're
now.
dropping a lot. We're finding
Oh man.
support on the 200 EMA on the hourly, but yeah, man, we dropped like nearly 2% there. Yeah, I think it's gonna
Oh,
continue dropping, but yeah, that's crazy. Yo, if we
okay, yeah.
drop, real quick, if we drop below the 200 EMA on the hourly, holy fuck, this is bearish.
I think we should take some profit right now. Actually, no. The fact that's 200 EMA, to be honest with you, it's the fact that it's 200 EMA. You'll definitely see some sort of a pullback. I'm probably just going to. Oh man,
Yeah, we could. I'm 1.7% up. That's pretty good.
keeps on pushing.
Yeah. All right. Let's hash this out. Okay, I don't want to open up my
I'm
exchange.
gonna sell half at the 14.495.
All right, y'all. Like and subscribe. Take care.